Lions don't need to announce the hunt. The silence is their strength. Welcome back, Ascenders. Today we don't do surface level. This isn't a highlight reel or some feel-good checklist. This is for those of you who've always moved differently, not to be edgy, not to impress anyone, but because the blueprint society handed you felt like a cage. This is for the ones who figured out early that the loudest guy in the room isn't always the smartest. The ones who watched the herd and thought, there has to be more than this. We're diving into 11 signals, real ones, that you're not just cut from a different cloth. You're crafted for something greater. And even if nobody sees it yet, even if the world misreads your silence, your stillness, your refusal to play by worn-out rules, this episode is the mirror that reflects your true form. Hit that subscribe button, Ascenders. This is your reminder. The world doesn't get to define your pace, your depth, or your power. 1. They navigate by inner coordinates. A Sigma male doesn't look outward for direction. He tunes inward. While others seek approval, affirmation, or signs from the crowd, a Sigma is guided by a compass the world can't read. He doesn't ask, "What are others doing?" but instead, "What aligns with my truth?" This isn't arrogance, it's clarity. It's the product of spending years in solitude, reflection, and relentless self-honesty. While the world chases external status, Sigmas pursue internal coherence. They'll walk away from a high-paying job if it means peace. They'll end a relationship if it dulls their purpose. They're allergic to misalignment. It's this inner navigation that makes them unpredictable to the average person. People assume they're lost because they're not marching in sync with everyone else, but in reality, they're 10 steps ahead, just on a different path. This guidance system isn't mystical. It's built from reading the world with open eyes, asking deeper questions, and resisting shallow answers. When a Sigma makes a move, it's not random. It's rooted in something internal, something solid. He knows the price of ignoring his compass is a slow death, a life of quiet desperation. So he stays true, even when it costs him friends, opportunities, or comfort. That's the Sigma advantage. Direction isn't borrowed, it's built. 2. Discomfort doesn't deter them, it refines them. The average person avoids pain. They back off when it stings. They quit when it burns. But Sigma males, they understand that discomfort is not the enemy, it's the catalyst. They know that real growth doesn't come from safety, it comes from leaning into the grind. When others see a wall, they see a weight to lift. When life hits hard, they don't cry foul. They say, "Good, let's go." This mindset isn't masochism, it's mastery. It's recognizing that every trial has the potential to carve strength into their character. They understand pressure creates diamonds, or it crushes you. So they train under pressure until they shine. When they choose discomfort, they're not being reckless. They're choosing deliberate struggle, cold showers, mental fasts, isolation, physical strain. They use discomfort like iron in the fire, not to suffer, but to forge. And when life throws chaos their way, they're not caught off guard. They've been rehearsing. It's not ego, it's preparation. While others panic, they pivot. Sigma males don't just endure discomfort, they embrace it as the sharpening stone of future dominance. 3. They speak fluent silence. You'll never catch a Sigma talking just to fill a void. They don't throw around empty words or rehearse socially acceptable scripts. They use silence like a weapon, and most people don't even realize it. In a world obsessed with noise, the Sigma's silence makes people nervous. But that silence, it's loaded. It's where he observes, analyzes, absorbs. He listens when others are trying to impress. He spots the cracks between words, the inconsistencies in tone, the truths hiding behind the performance. He doesn't react emotionally. He processes. You think he's not paying attention, but he's 3 steps ahead, mentally connecting patterns no one else notices. Then, when he finally speaks, it lands. It shifts energy. It silences rooms. Not because it's loud, but because it's precise. Silence also protects his energy. Sigmas don't waste breath convincing others who they are. They'd rather move in silence and let the results speak. They understand that speaking less gives their words more gravity, and sometimes the most powerful thing they can say is nothing at all. That's not passivity, it's power. 4. Their curiosity is weaponized. Most people are curious until it becomes inconvenient. Sigma males. Their curiosity is relentless and strategic. It's not just daydreaming or random interest. It's targeted. It's functional. When something captures their attention, they dive headfirst, not to impress, but to understand. They break things down to the core: systems, behaviors, technology, psychology, history. Everything is a puzzle, and they can't help but take it apart. This obsession with why and how isn't academic, it's tactical. Sigmas know that in a world ruled by surface-level thinking, deep understanding becomes an edge, a weapon. They don't wait for teachers or mentors. They self-educate. Hours vanish when they're in the zone. What others call boring, they call necessary. They learn in silence, apply in silence, and when it's time to act, they execute with precision. Their curiosity turns into patterns. Those patterns turn into predictions, and that turns into leverage. They see shifts before they happen because they were paying attention while everyone else was distracted. This trait doesn't make them nerds. It makes them dangerous. Because once a Sigma understands how a system works, he knows how to bend it, how to build something better, or how to dismantle it. That's why you can't underestimate a curious Sigma. He's not just collecting information, he's preparing for a takeover. 5. They're not afraid to burn old blueprint. Society hands everyone a script. Go to school, get a job, climb the ladder, settle down, retire. Most people follow it without question. But Sigma males, they spot the cracks immediately. They look at the blueprint, and if it doesn't align, they torch it. Not out of anger, not to rebel, but because it doesn't serve the mission. They aren't scared to start from zero if it means building something real. That job with status but no soul, they'll quit. That relationship that looks perfect on paper but feels hollow, they'll walk. That life that others envy but they don't feel, they'll let it die, so something authentic can be born. Sigmas understand something most people never grasp. Following someone else's blueprint might get you somewhere, but it won't get you where you're meant to be. Burning the old plan takes courage. It means facing the unknown. But to a Sigma, that uncertainty is better than slow death in a life that's too small. They don't fear starting over. They fear stagnation. When others cling to security, Sigmas chase freedom. And when they rebuild, it's on their terms. 6. They move like ghosts, but build like architects. You won't always see a Sigma coming. They don't announce their projects. They don't promote every step. While others broadcast every hustle, Sigmas operate in the shadows. Quiet, focused, intentional. It's not because they're hiding. It's because they don't need the noise. Their validation doesn't come from applause. It comes from execution. And when the work is done, the results speak for themselves. Sigma males are builders, not just of businesses or skills, but of entire realities. They design their lifestyle with precision, time, energy, relationships. It's all constructed like a high-functioning system. They're not improvising, they're engineering. And when their work finally becomes visible, people act surprised. But the truth is, it was happening all along, just out of sight. That's the Sigma blueprint. Build in silence, move with strategy, strike when ready. They understand that real power doesn't beg to be seen. It emerges when it's finished, when it's undeniable. While others are busy showing off, Sigmas are quietly leveling up. And when they finally reveal what they've built, it doesn't just make noise, it creates impact. 7. They outgrow rooms without needing applause. Sigma males don't announce their growth. They don't crave celebration when they outgrow a situation, a group, or a mindset. They simply evolve and move on, quietly, cleanly. In a world obsessed with recognition, that makes them confusing. People wonder why they disappeared, why they no longer engage, why they seem distant. The truth? The Sigma isn't trying to prove anything. He's already moved into a new phase. He's already ascended. Growth for a Sigma isn't about milestones or flashy transitions. It's about depth, expansion, alignment. When something no longer fits, be it a career, a social circle, or an identity, they don't fight to hold on. They let go with zero drama. This isn't cold, it's clarity. They understand that evolution demands shedding skin, and not everyone is meant to follow you into the next level. Some connections were only meant for one chapter. And the wild part? They rarely announce it. They don't need a goodbye tour. They just vanish from spaces that no longer reflect their standards or vision. Not as a power move, but as a natural progression. To others it looks like silence, but to a Sigma it's movement, it's elevation, no applause needed. 8. They own their shadows. Everyone has darkness, insecurities, flaws, traumas. Most people run from them, cover them up, fake perfection. But Sigma males, they do the opposite. They face their shadows and integrate them. They know that pretending to be flawless is a weakness in itself. Real strength comes from understanding your broken parts, your failures, your regrets, and using them as fuel. A Sigma doesn't bury his past. He studies it. He dissects it. He asks, "What did this teach me? How do I use it now?" That self-awareness makes him untouchable. Why? Because you can't weaponize what he's already owned. You can't shame him with his past. He's already mined the lessons from it. His mistakes don't haunt him, they sharpen him. And this isn't some self-help cliché. It's surgical self-analysis. It's the kind of brutal internal work that most people avoid because it's uncomfortable. Sigmas walk straight into that discomfort, because they know that until you face your shadows, you'll never truly rise. They don't wear masks. They don't play characters. They're raw, real, and refined by fire. That's what makes them so hard to fake or replace. 9. They lead without asking for permission. Sigma males don't wait to be appointed. They don't ask for titles. They lead naturally because their presence is rooted in conviction, not ego. They're not barking orders or demanding attention. In fact, most Sigmas don't even call themselves leaders, but people still follow them. Not because they're loud, but because they're clear. They walk their talk. Their energy creates gravity. When chaos hits, people turn to them. When direction is needed, they step forward. Not to dominate, but to provide structure. Their leadership comes from strength of character, not status. And here's the key. They don't care about recognition. They don't need their name on the door or their face in the spotlight. They're in it for the mission, not the medal. That's what makes their leadership so potent. It's not performative. It's authentic. They operate like a general behind the lines, calm, calculated, focused on the bigger picture. They don't lead for credit. They lead because their vision demands it. Even when no one's watching, the Sigma is building, guiding, deciding. Not because he has to, because he was made to. 10. They are restless with mediocrity. Comfort feels like a cage to a Sigma male. He doesn't just dislike mediocrity, he's allergic to it. Where others settle for good enough, the Sigma feels an internal itch, a fire, a quiet voice whispering, "You're capable of more." This restlessness doesn't make life easier, it makes it more intense. But that's the point. Sigmas aren't chasing ease, they're chasing expansion. In work, relationships, ideas, they constantly push the limits. If a room feels too small, they'll leave it. If a challenge becomes predictable, they'll raise the stakes. It's not ambition for the sake of status. It's about evolution. Mediocrity is death by comfort. And Sigmas would rather fail chasing greatness than succeed playing small. They build systems around this mindset. They audit their routines, question their habits, and kill off anything that breeds stagnation. That job that's okay, gone. That friendship that's coasting, cut. That mindset that once worked but no longer fits, replaced. This constant self-editing makes them sharp, but also misunderstood. People call them restless, intense, even cold. But what they're really doing is protecting their potential. They know that the cost of comfort is growth, and they're not willing to pay that price. 11. They don't just dream, they design. While others talk about what they want, Sigma males reverse engineer what they're going to build. Dreaming is step one, but the Sigma doesn't live in fantasy. He breaks his goals into steps, systems, and outcomes. This mindset makes him dangerous, because while others are still hyping themselves up, he's already executing the blueprint. He doesn't need motivation, he needs a plan. And once the vision is locked in, the rest is math. He studies, he iterates, he optimizes. The Sigma sees his life as a structure he's constructing. Health, business, relationships, legacy, it's all architecture. He knows every move won't work, but he also knows motion beats stagnation. While others hesitate, he adjusts mid-flight. His ability to think long-term and act in the present is his edge. This design mentality means he's never stuck. If something breaks, he rebuilds it. If he hits a wall, he maps a new route. Nothing is final, nothing is fixed. Everything is designable, and that's the secret. Sigmas don't wait for life to get better. They build better lives, brick by brick. Ascenders, if you've made it this far, let this truth sink in. Being a Sigma male isn't about looking mysterious or acting aloof. It's not about trends or image. It's about substance. It's about internal power, deep awareness, ruthless precision, quiet fire. It's about choosing evolution over applause, depth over comfort, purpose over noise. The world might not recognize your path yet. That's fine. You weren't built for their categories. You were built for impact, and that impact is forged in silence, through the choices no one sees and the work no one applauds. So keep moving how you move. Stay sharp, stay grounded, stay unshakable. This is your arena and your silence. It's just your signal before the strike. Until next time, keep ascending. This is Sigma Ascends, and the climb never stops.